If you've been searching up phrases such as how to be wealthy, how to get rich quick, how to manifest money fast, how to find good passive income ideas, or anything else around this topic of financial freedom and abundance, and everything seems like a lie to you, and you just get frustrated because there's so much chat online but very little actual advice, and you just seem like nothing really works for you anymore, then that means that you're stuck in a lack mindset. And I know, you probably heard this phrase before because it's quite an oversaturated word nowadays, but it's not another buzzword, and I can promise you that I have one solution, and all you need to do is watch this video till the end, because I'm not gonna ask you to buy anything or download anything. I'm gonna tell you exactly what you need to know from a perspective of a person that also was stuck in lack mindset for the longest time. Because trust me when I tell you that I come from lack and scarcity, and all I knew my whole life is that money is hard to keep, money is hard to make, there's not enough opportunities, investing is risky, and there's so many other things that I used to think that now I reframed and I overcame scarcity, and I want to help you do that as well. You can see chapters of this video right here, the whole timeline, so if there's anything in particular that you want to skip to, then feel free to do it, but let's go ahead and start. So I want to start this video off by saying that I genuinely do understand how it feels to be in lack mindset. I used to search for the longest time how to be abundant online, in books, etc., but every time I felt like I couldn't relate to those people because they seemed quite well off and I was not well off, and I was just thinking, oh, they probably had it easy, they probably got some sort of like a lucky opportunity and they just took it, and that's why, and that's never gonna happen to me, and I would spiral. So again, I was stuck in lack mindset. Even when I had opportunities handed to me, resources handed to me, I would find a way to make it sound and make it seem like it's just still not possible. And trust me when I say this, I used to get anxious when I would approach a till in a grocery store because I would be just worried that I'm not going to be able to afford something, or I'm going to have to cut my budget because something was too expensive. And instead of thinking differently, I would just constantly be thinking, oh my god, there's not enough in this world, prices are at all-time high and everything is just not going well. But luckily I overcame this mindset, and now I think abundantly, and I think in a ways that I 2 years ago would never think in. And I really want you to do that as well, and I want to show you exactly how to do it. So let's dive right in. So firstly, we really need to understand what abundance really means and is, because it doesn't come down to money. It's not just about money and materialistic things. Abundance is a state of being and state of mind and how you respond and react to things around you. An abundant person essentially sees everything as the glass is half full, not half empty. An abundant person sees opportunities and faces obstacles with no urgency, with not feeling like I'm not gonna achieve anything. No, an abundant person knows exactly that there's so many opportunities in life that they can have, they can achieve, that they don't need to worry about a little obstacle along the way, because that's a natural part of the process. This is just something that always will happen. They don't worry about it. They always think and reframe things to think, how can I do this? How can I achieve this? How can I afford this? So abundance simply means that there's always enough for everybody in this world, and you don't need to worry about lack of things. And to be even more honest with you, if you've got a working phone, a connection to Wi-Fi, then you have all the resources that you need, because we are blessed to live in times where we can just pick up a book for £7 and be able to read everything and knowledge, wisdom from someone that took probably a lifetime of learning those things, and now it's all handed to us in a little book or a YouTube video or a TikTok video. Anything really that we can achieve and we can read and we can watch is literally right here in front of us. And to not use this, girl, because that already is showing you that there's literally an abundance of possibilities and resources. And when you think about your parents, for instance, they didn't have that back then. They didn't have a working phone, and they couldn't just record a silly video of themselves, get 1 million likes, and suddenly be social media influencers. That wasn't a thing back then. So we really need to acknowledge that honestly, we are not at disadvantage. We've got so many things around us, and to complain is honestly the worst thing you can do for yourself. And I'm saying this again just to remind you, I know how it feels because I was there as well. I used to feel the same exact way, but nothing else will wake you up than a harsh wake-up call, and this is what I'm doing right now. So now that we established what abundance really is and means, we need to think about what is lack mindset and what is abundance mindset. So now that we know it's not always about money and it's not always about materialistic things, when we've got a person that is thinking in lack mindset, first of all, they think that there's not enough jobs out there. They apply for jobs, they never get them. That means like it's just not gonna happen for them. And they just spiral and just start victimizing themselves and thinking, oh my god, this world is so unfair, this world is so cruel, I just hate it here. And even if they find the courage to do something like build a business or maybe start content creation, they hit one obstacle or do it for 1 week, nothing actually happens, and they're like, I'm done. That's it, I'm done. I'm not doing it. Why? Because they don't see the possibility. They don't see that they can achieve it. They don't see that it is possible for them because they expect instant results. A person operating from lack mindset will always find some sort of an excuse to not do something or complain about something. Most of the time it's because we are literally wired to think that way, and it's so normalized nowadays, and it's so contagious to think in this negative way because obviously there's a lot going on in this world, and especially when it comes to inflation and things like that, we just get so hung up on those things, but we also forget that we don't really have much control over prices in our local grocery store or maybe prices of online shipping. We are not able to change that, but what we can change is the way we respond to it and the way we use that knowledge that we have and the stuff that we already have. So again, a person that is stuck in lack mindset will also always say that they can't afford anything. They will go to a store and they will be like, oh my god, this is so expensive, I can't have it. And they will always think that it's just never going to be possible for them. They will be envy of others. They won't really see success in a way that inspires them. It's always going to be something that makes them jealous. Not only that, if they see someone in the close circle winning, they will either try to bring them down or always say, oh my god, this is so unrealistic, you probably had luck, you probably just got lucky. They will think that all people that are rich are evil and so on. And what ultimately happens for those people is that they get stuck in this mindset and they just constantly are negative and nothing good happens for them because they are on low vibration. That's the reality they create daily and consciously, may I add. So now let's compare this to an abundant person. So an abundant person will, first of all, when they go to a store and let's say they can't afford this bag or they can't afford this certain thing that they want to buy. Okay, cool. That's fine. I know I will one day. Let me think how I can actually maximize my income. How and what can I do so then I can actually go to the store, buy this without blinking. Another thing is they will go and buy a book, one book for £7, and they will learn as much as they can from that book, and they will be grateful because they will think, oh my god, this is the best resource I've ever gotten, and this is all I really need to start creating something. Not only that, if they know that they've got connection to Wi-Fi, they've got a working phone, they've got a laptop or whatever that is digital they've got, they can achieve a lot of things with that. They can literally watch a YouTube video, they will look at every free resource they can get and use this to their advantage. And an abundant person, when they, let's say, are building a business or the social media, even when they hit an obstacle or low views, low engagement, they will keep going. They will not just crumble and cry and be like, okay, I'm quitting this is not gonna happen for me anymore. No, they're not gonna do it because they know deep in their heart that whatever happens doesn't matter. They can still grow from this. And not only that, failure doesn't exist in the vocabulary because failure is simply stepping stones and what is teaching them what not to do and what to do and how to overcome things. That makes them stronger and more resilient in order to have something that they want. I mean, let's be real. Can you imagine running a business with lack mindset and always be negative and never see opportunity? It would crumble. I'm sorry, you would go bankrupt. So the key difference between those two mindsets is seeing possibilities. And let me just tell you that being abundant doesn't mean that you are always, happy 24/7. And even if you're struggling, you're just like, oh, that's fine, everything's burning, but that's fine, I can still. No, it's not that. It's how you approach this. You don't spiral instantly. You don't start just crying and you start giving up, and you always see that there's a way out of struggle. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, in order to go from scarcity mindset to abundance mindset, do I just need to think that there's things that I can achieve, and do I just need to, you know, feel like, oh my gosh, okay, no, it's fine, like I'm gonna be rich one day, and just, you know, sit down and visualize. Is that enough? No. No, no, no. When it comes to changing from lack mindset to abundance mindset, it's not as easy as just snapping your fingers and suddenly just having a different, completely different mindset and outlook on life, because scarcity mindset most likely comes from your subconscious that's been fed those beliefs your whole life. So to rewire, let's say 20 years worth of thinking negatively is a bit of work, and it's not to discourage you, it's just to make it very crystal clear that you can't just like manifest money in 24 hours, because that's just, I'm sorry, if you see that on TikTok, that's BS, okay? That's just pure BS. The thing is, subconscious mind dictates probably about 95% of our own actions, and that's why it's so hard to just suddenly switch, because consciously you might not be thinking, okay, yeah, that makes sense, I mean, I can be abundant because I explained it to you, I showed you the clear differences, and consciously you think, yeah, that makes sense, but your subconscious doesn't believe it yet. And how do I know that? Because again, I've been through it myself. I've watched countless of videos about financial freedom, passive income ideas, mastering abundance mindset, and all of those other things, and nothing seemed to work for me, because one video, it would change my outlook on things and how I consciously think, but my subconscious was still sabotaging me. So the difference between subconscious and conscious mind is that conscious mind is this immediate mind. This mind just takes things in, and subconscious absorbs them. So consciously, like I just said, you're probably thinking, okay, that makes sense, you know, I can be abundant, I've seen people do it, but your subconscious like, girl, no, I don't think so. And in order to change that and actually effectively switch from lack to abundance is to rewire your subconscious. And this is where affirmations, vision boards, visualization, and all those things come into play. This is a very powerful technique that has been proven to work in order to rewire your subconscious mind. You probably won't be able to rewire your subconscious mind within like 24 hours, especially if it's something that's really deeply rooted in you. And things like lack and negativity overall is something that is so normalized that your subconscious probably has been fed so much, and literally probably nearly every day, that now it's all it knows. So when you do things such as affirmations, vision boards, visualizing, etc., you are step by step rewiring your subconscious mind, but it takes time. It is a daily practice that you need to do in order to actually see results. And the reason why it actually takes time is because, like we said before, subconscious mind absorbs things. So ultimately that means that you can feed any narrative you want to your subconscious. You literally have this amazingly powerful choice to completely change the trajectory of your life, the outlook that you have, the mindset that you have. But all you need to do is first of all identify where those beliefs are coming from. Maybe as a kid you were watching your parents, you know, struggle and kind of tell you that you can't afford this, you can't afford that. Maybe you've seen your friends struggle, maybe, you know, you used to talk to your friends and kind of be like, oh, you know, I wish I could do that, but that's just like rich people thing. There's many things that you've probably done in your life that you don't even realize but fed into this scarcity mindset. So now you need to see and really find those patterns in your everyday life, and that can be done through journaling and kind of checking in with yourself every day. Once you are able to identify why you feel in a certain way about money, this is when you try and fix this relationship with money and abundance overall. And like I said, affirmations, subliminals as well, are very powerful, but again, you need to use it as an extra thing on top of your work that you do daily, because if you just visualize and you do some affirmations and that's it, then it's not going to change. The main thing is what you do in your daily life and how you catch those patterns, how you try to rewire how you think about things, because again, your immediate responses come from your subconscious, and it is something that can be difficult, can take time, and can be a bit triggering, because sometimes you need to really dig deep into what you've been through to understand why you are the way you are right now. You need to really step out of your comfort zone and try different things and really think about it in an abundant way, and just see it as possibilities and things that expand you as a person, grow your knowledge, grow your wisdom, and they are never something that is a waste of time. So to change your subconscious, you need to do it through repetition. And another thing is going viral nowadays, and it's actually very powerful, is EFT tapping, and it works very well when you try to rewire your mindset, because you first say everything that you think and then you change it and you do the same sequence but with the affirmations that are powerful. And the last thing might trigger some people, but don't take advice from those whose lives you don't want to have. When it comes to advice online and in real life as well, and it can be from your parents to someone that you don't know, if you don't want their life, you don't want what they have, their advice is probably not going to work for you. And it's not to say to disregard anybody's knowledge, anybody's wisdom, because again, everybody has a completely different journeys. And it's not to say don't listen to anybody and just look at others like, you know, they don't know anything. And this kind of goes back to when I said about my background, that I used to look for advice, but because I was looking at people that were well off, it's not that I didn't trust them, but it just felt like I couldn't relate to them because, you know, they are not struggling, so what do they know? But the thing is, I don't know what they went through to be at the point that they are right now. If someone is giving you real advice and you can see that they know what they are talking about, then you probably should trust them and listen to what they say. And this is the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I want you to remember that you are always abundant. There's always possibilities, and that comes from someone that genuinely knows how it feels to struggle and how it is to struggle financially and not have any stability whatsoever. So if you feel lost, please remember that there's always a way out, and that's why you have so many resources, so many creators out there that are willing to give you so much knowledge. All you need to do is just listen to them and take it all in. So whenever you feel like you need it, come back to this video and let me know down in the comments what point was the most eye-opening for you and what you will apply from now on, and let me know what else you would want to hear and what you struggle with, because this topic is something I'm really passionate about. Because like I said, I come from financial struggles, so I know that there's many people that are probably stuck in that, and I really want to open your eyes to this. And everything else is linked down below, so you can have a look at my Snapchat and my TikTok and Instagram. There's always new content on there as well, so we can all chat and kind of get to know each other. But other than that, I will see you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.